and it attracts people from all manners of life. But like, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, people are very sensitive. They're sensitive to see different things in the world that they can make fun of, and they notice things a lot, and they have great observational talents. And a lot of those people, like very sensitive people that are taking everything in, sometimes like, you know, drugs and alcohol, it goes along with that because it's a way to dull yourself from the pain of, you know, having these realizations, or, you know, not being healthy enough to deal with the world as it is. So you're just, you know, and music and art and comedy, they always have, you know, a lot of people that have issues. And it's, being somebody who was, you know, using drugs and drinking, I haven't for 12 or 13 years, actually the things about that make you a drug addict actually make you a good comedian too, because like the compulsion to do drugs is similar to the compulsion to keep doing comedy or to keep doing something when it's not working and getting it to work eventually. And a lot of that type of like behavior that in a normal person's life, like, what are you doing on Tuesday night? Right. You going to tell jokes? Yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody's paying you. You go, no, but they will in 6 years. They go, what? It's crazy to normal people. But if you come from being a drug addict, where you're like, yeah, I used to go and do drugs, and I would drive to get drugs, and, you know, I would satiate myself like that, it makes sense to do something over and over and over again. And that inhibits a lot of normal people who from being comedians or whatever they want to be. Because like when I started a podcast, no one cared. I just keep fucking doing it. Yeah. And I was doing it myself, and it was like when you're talking to no one, and then there's a small audience, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. But like what made me keep doing it is the same part of my brain that made me keep doing drugs. Yeah. It was the same type of compulsive thing. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's your superpower. Yeah, your ability to just bore down and keep doing something over and over and over again until you get better at it.
I think it's a lot of comics, right?
Yeah, a giant percentage of us.
A lot of comics.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of comics get addicted to other things.
For sure.
You know, a lot of comics get addicted to drugs and alcohol, and a lot of comics get addicted to activities. I'm certainly guilty of that. Right. Specifically games. Get very, very, very addicted to games. And I think that there's like something that happens to us where that pathway could be taken over by a positive thing
or a negative thing.
Yeah, you could just be like fully addicted to creating new material. Right. Just addicted. I fucking can't wait to get up stage with this new stuff. I'm fucking juiced up. Or it can be, I can't wait to go bet my whole life savings. Right. Which is they fucking do it, man. Yeah. You know, I was watching Dana. I was told the story too many times, but I was watching Dana White. He was down $600,000 playing blackjack. And I'm like, what? This is insanity. You wound up winning. You wound up being up like $600,000, which is even more insane. But like, what the fuck, man? When you're watching people get, and he's super rich. So for him to get his juices flowing, it's got to be crazy money. Yeah. Woo!
That is crazy.
Woo! That's a different level of that
down
shit.
$600K would not be good.
And it's a different level when you have the financial means
to do it.
To go hard.
To do it, for
all
sure.
The time.
Yeah.
Woo!
Unhealthy.
Super crazy.
Unhealthy.
Well, I guess he likes it. Here's the thing. It's like some people like sports.
People do what they like. Yeah. That's a great... When you look at life like that, it's kind of one of those things people say that sounds very, very simplistic, but then actually when you actually zoom out, it makes life...
Well, here's the thing.
People do what they like.
He seems to be pulling it off.
Yeah.
And he has for a long time. For people to say, like, you're going to lose everything. He hasn't.
No.
So you're wrong.
Some people have a line. AA and all these things are not for everyone, right? Not everyone's an alcoholic. Some people are problem drinkers, meaning if they stop drinking, they'll be okay, right? Some people are hard drinkers. Some people can recreationally use drugs. There's all different types of people. I'm not one of those people. I can't recreationally use cocaine. Some people can, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I couldn't recreationally do comedy. I had to do it to do it.
Yeah.
Some people can. Some people are able to give themselves that type of restriction.
Have you ever been to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting?
Never Gamblers Anonymous, but I know there's a lot of cross-pollination. So I've been to AA where people are also gamblers. And
multiple addictions.
And
so are they proclaiming their sobriety off of gambling and
yeah,
stuff,
and they were people that were just drinking to fucking all the pain of having that addiction as well.
There's a lot of guys who got into comedy from AA in Boston. They're really funny guys too.
Yeah,
because they would go on stage and tell these stories about being shit-faced and the crazy things that happened. And some of them were really funny.
Of course.
And so, quite a few of those guys wound up doing stand-up from learning how to do stand-up in AA meetings.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they would just tell these stories.
Well,
I remember one time.
It takes away your inhibitions, right?
Yeah.
So you if you've been a drunk and someone who's lived that life, when you get into comedy you can kind of go out there and just go and then put it all on the table and go, I'm a fuck up.
And almost all of them smoke cigarettes and drink coffee,
that's a big
day.
Well, because those are drugs too.
Yeah, all day.
Those are drugs too.
Cigarettes and drinking coffee.
Those are
sober.
drugs too. Yeah. I mean, it's very hard to explain to someone who's not wired that way,
right,
how it works to be wired that way. It's very difficult. If someone isn't wired that way at all, and they have no addictive tendencies, and they don't do anything really passionately, and they have lots of different hobbies. I have friends that are very happy, great people. They have lots of different hobbies. None of them take them over.
Right.
None of them care that much about any one or two of them, They're just not wired that way.
Mm-hmm.
They go out to dinner, they have 2 glasses of wine. They don't finish the second one.
Right.
I go, how great? They go, yeah, who cares? I like drinking with food. I like wine with food. They go,
what?
They can have 1 cigarette occasionally. They can have, they're just wired a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe they have more discipline, but also maybe they're just wired a different way, because those are the same people who aren't trying to make millions of dollars. They're fine. I'm not saying they should, but then I know people who, they want to make a lot of money. They are addicted to a lot of different things. They switch to go from one addiction to another. It's a problem. It's very hard staying faithful to the wife or whatever. There's a lot of people that deal with a lot of things. People just wire differently.
Mm-hmm.
And you can wire yourself in a positive way and use those addictive tendencies in a positive way too.
For sure. I've seen people that literally can't drink. They drink, they have 1 drink, and then all of a sudden they have gerbil eyes, and they're not there anymore. There's a few people that I've met in my life that I've seen them drunk, and they have a couple of drinks, and then something shuts off, and they're not there anymore. Tim's not there.
Yeah.
Who's this person?
Right.
Who's this fucking half robot just wandering around?
Well, it just became, for me, it was all I care about. So if I was drinking, I'd be like, I am drinking.
Right.
Drinking is the thing that I want to do.
Yeah.
Partying and drinking. So everything else in your life that you're supposed to care about disappears.
And some of it had to be fun.
Some of it, it's a lot of fun. Listen, I don't even regret it. And when people say, you don't regret it? I go, not really, because there's a lot of fun. But what happens is, you then look around and all your friends are drunks. So you start to eventually, before you know it or not, every friend of yours is a drunk or has a problem with something. And that's why you all relate to each other, because nobody's calling the other person out on being a mess.
Right.
And then all your friends that are more successful tend to move away from you.
Yeah.
And you don't realize this is happening. It's happening, but you eventually, you take your head up and you're so fogged out by everything that you're not, then you look at the landscape of your life and go, oh, all the successful people got out of here.
Yeah.
And then all the people that are left are fellow addicts. And then you got to cut the cord and move on.
Hey.
Not only from your addiction, but in many cases from your social circle.
Was that the harder part?
That is a very hard part. It's a hard part because you have to cut certain people, places, and things out of your life. You don't really have a choice.
And some of them you like.
You like the local bar. You like your friends. It's fun. It's comfortable. Going to the bar, being a drunk, being a funny drunk.
Yeah.
But then going, well, maybe I could be funny in another way and make money at it or whatever. That's a whole.
But did you try to go
thing.
to the bar sober? Did you try to hang out there?
I never did. If I showed you the bar I hung out, you would go, no, you don't do this sober. No, you don't do it sober because, it's not fun sober. It's fun drunk. And this is my mother used to say, she never drank. And she was like, oh, I used to go to bar sober as it was fun. And I'm like, right, but you're also a schizophrenic. There's something weirder about the person in the bar sober having a lot of fun. That's weirder.
That is weird.
The person who's like, I'm sober, and they're drinking Diet Coke or water, they're more of a freak. Just don't go. You don't have to go. There's other things. This is part of our life where it's like, no, you can, you can still do it. You can still go to the bar. You can still have all your friends and sober up. You can't. You can't. They're not interesting when you're not drunk. The bar's disgusting. It smells like shit. It's not cool. If you're drunk, there's nothing better than hanging out. Like I had this bar called Lisa's Lounge. The owner named it after his daughter who was killed in a drunk driving accident. Fact. And her face was on the wall of the bar, and people would toast her and go, Lisa, and then drink. It was crazy. But it was fun, and it made sense when you were drunk. Oh, this girl died in a car accident with a drunk driver, and there's a bar named after her, and we're all here doing shots, toasting this dead person on a wall. This makes a lot of sense. This is fun. Then you sober up and go, motherfucker, what? Like, none of it makes sense anymore.
Right. How many people left that bar drunk driving?
Tons. All? A lot. So it's like, when you are hanging out in these places, when you're a real alcoholic, you're not going, it's not trendy, fun, cool, hip bars. It starts there, but it ends just proximity, right? So if you're around a fucking bar, you're going to go to that bar. And that was a bar up the block from my house. I could walk to it.
You remember Barfly?
Yeah.
That's like the most rosy depiction of bar culture.
Yeah, but it's the depiction that if you were drunk, it makes sense.
A toast to all my friends.
Yeah. Everyone is your friend at the bar. Everybody cares about you. The bartender used to lend me your car if I needed to go get cigarettes. I was hammered. She goes, take my car. I don't care. Because she was drunk. You know what I mean? She doesn't care.
The brakes probably didn't work anyway.
She doesn't care. I remember one guy, I was sitting on a stool next to one guy once. His wife brought his 14-year-old daughter in, and she's like, look at your father. He refuses to get off this bar. He's a piece of shit.
Oh my God.
And they both laughed, and I was just sitting next to the guy, and it was kind of awkward. And he's like, he goes, she's a real bitch, man. And I'm like,
my God.
I'm like, yeah, she seems pretty selfish. I'm like, you deserve a couple of, you come out and you have a couple of laughs with your friends. But this is a problem, right? There was this woman, Marge, she used to come to bars, shit herself. She used to call everyone faggots.
She would shit herself?
She would shit herself, and they kicked her out once. They're like, Marge, you shit yourself. She's like, you're all faggots. You're a faggot. You're a faggot. You're a faggot. So it's these people are, people are not well.
No.
They're not doing well there, but it's a great place to be for a minute in your life, to understand. If I was a person who could never understand how people get so fucked up. Because the next step after that bar is a fucking tent. It's not that many steps. You lose your apartment, you lose your thing.
Yeah.
So to understand how it is, didn't Bill Hicks have that great line? He's like, anyone can be, it just takes the right bar, the right friends, the right girl, whatever it was. It was a great Bill Hicks line. It was about being homeless. He's like, anyone can be homeless, takes this. But to understand what it's like when you surrender your thoughtful, logical capacity in your brain to a fucking glass of alcohol and keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
I was in my early 20s just drinking these fucking bottles of vodka, right? Gin and vodka, just clear alcohol over and over again, and then doing shots. People start buying shots, Jack Daniels and Gentleman's Jack and Makers and whatever, and just drinking all the time, 3 or 4 days a week, and then 5 days a week, and then you're just really, and then people think it's funny, and then they start, I tried to tell my dad about it, I was trying to be I think I have a problem, and I was telling him about the bar I hung out in, and instead of saying oh, you should go to rehab, my dad's like, a dirtbag bar has played a role in every Dylan's life, and he's like, then he started telling me about a bar he hung out in, and a bar that my uncle hung out in. And it was just a lot of people, especially when you're Irish, it's just that's just part of it, son. You just go to a place 4 nights a week and you drink all your paycheck. That's just part of what we do. And it gets dark really quickly. And I think I sobered up at 25, but, from 12 or 13, when you just start smoking weed and doing all that stuff, till you get to 25, it's you see these people, all these different stages of addiction. Some people in the beginning, some people in the middle, some people at the end. That woman, Marge, is the end. She's an old drunk, an old woman who her whole system didn't work anymore. When she would just go, you're all faggot, you're a faggot, you're a faggot.
And shitting herself.
She would start pissing herself. She was getting sloppy, and 4:30, her daughter would have to come in and take her off the stool. This is what happens. There's no good that comes out of. There's a couple that used to hang out. This guy on the glass. His wife would spit a pill into his drink that would just make him go to sleep, so she could get him out of the bar. She would just put like a pill, and she would drug him. He wouldn't even know, and. Then she would just drag him out of the bar because he was so fucked up. This guy that owned a glass thing, a glass shop. So it's really dark, and when you're in your early 20s, some of it's funny and goofy, and you're like, this is fucking nuts that I'm hanging out here. But then you become, like, you start making fun of it, then you become it. You become the thing you're making fun of. You start going, you're ironically like, look at this fucking crazy. And then you're like, oh, I'm one of the people now sitting on this bar stool. It's not funny anymore. It's not ironic. I'm coming here to get drunk all the time.
And it's your social circle.
It becomes your social circle. All these crazy people that live in the area, and they're all fucking nuts, and they all go to the bar. And if you want Coke, it's there. And if you want weed, it's there. And people, you know, it's like that's the type of bar it was. You could just... I still drive people by it. They're like, I can't believe you hung out there. And I'm like, yeah, was it fucking alcoholic? had a problem. They're like, you really hung out there. People just don't understand alcoholism. They're like, what do you, they're like, didn't you want to go to a club that was like fun? I'm like, no, I was a degenerate alcoholic. Like, I just wanted to be drunk. I didn't care where I was. Didn't matter. Right. I could walk to that bar. Right. And it was fun. It was a dark place, and the people were fun.
It's still around?
Oh, it's still around. It'll always be. Here's the thing.
What's the name?
Yeah, Lisa's Lounge. There it is. There it is.
That's it.
There it is. Doesn't that look nice?
I forgot you already said the name.
That looks nice, huh?
That looks creepy.
It's creepy.
That someone lives above it?
2 people got shot outside. They call it the double homicide. Yeah, some guy lives above it. The owner lived above it. You know what he said to me once? Where's the inside? Let's see if you can find the inside. I don't know if that's the... There it is. Lisa's Lounge added a new photo. There you go. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And by the way, that's Boston. That's Long Island, right?
Yeah.
If you went to a place...
Click on that one, Jamie, where your cursor is.
Yeah. That's a different one, but it's a similar game. It's like, you know, it's one of those things where a fan of mine brought had a Lisa's Lounge shirt made or something crazy.
That's awesome.
But it's like, that's the type of bar where like you realize you're in real trouble when you're hanging out there. But it's also really fun because no one cares about anything. Yeah. So those environments where you can go in and go, got fired.
Yeah.
And everybody's like...
4 photos on Yelp are pretty fun.
I mean, that's...
The one on the far right, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what it is, man. It's like...
Pool halls are like that.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
similar.
for sure.
Similar in that way. And not everyone's not drunk, but there's a very similar thing where you can walk in. I got fired today.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you do? Everybody was kind of like... a misfit. They were all misfits and weirdos.
And thank God I found comedy. Thank God I found a way out because that stuff eats your life, right? Yeah. So like, that will eat you if you don't get out of it.
That you found comedy, Tim.
Well, thank you.
Are you coming to club tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
You doing a Joe Rogan and Friends?
Fucking go.
I'll go. 8 o'clock.
8 and 10. 7 and 10. Sorry.
7 and 10. Can I do 10?
You can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna do 10.
Yeah, do 10.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why that's a good one later.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pool guy at my house, there's a leak, we think.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know. It's fucking hot. We'll see.
Oh, no. See Tim live.
Yes,
TimDillonComedy.com.
Yes, the American Royalty Tour is on sale, and we were in Philly, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, we're everywhere. TimDillonComedy.com. Go and
one of
grab
the
tickets.
best comics working in the country.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, brother.
You're the best ranter in the game, too.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Elon Musk is actually training for this. I'm not even kidding. He has only, throughout his career, if you look at every single aspect of his life, he has only overpromised and underperformed. And he's never been punished for it. Did you cover Elon backpedaling for the Zuckerberg fight? I haven't been paying close attention. What's the latest on it? I know Elon posted about it and he said, we're going to honor Italy with this fight or something, both past and modern Italy. And then nothing else came of it, right? And I think Mark Zuckerberg basically said, look, I've been training nonstop Just don't trust anything that Elon says. Elon Musk is pussing out by not wanting to use UFC, but Zuck wants to use UFC. Is that what it is? Is there like a explainer on this? I can't even fucking see these goddamn images. An explainer that's not on Twitter, hopefully, and not with like Twitter images, because again, Twitter images are currently not working. They're not loading for some reason because the website sucks. Zuckerberg's position seems to be frothing at the mouth. I mean, I understand. Wait, oh, Moist made a video of it. Hold on. Here, I'll just use that as a placeholder, and instead of fucking Charlie posted a video. This will never happen.
Making predictions, I'm wrong more often than a March Madness bracket. If I was a meteorologist, they would have me publicly executed at the town square while people throw tomatoes at me. I'm gonna go pee real quick as well. Because I would legitimately never predict the weather correctly. And I almost think that that's more impressive. The fact that I can't even accidentally get a prediction right. For those that don't know, for the last couple months, Elon Musk and Zuckerberg have been posturing that they're going to fight each other, like in a legitimate fight. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think this is all just publicity and attention because Elon Musk loves attention. He feeds on that more than a plant feeds on sunlight. Elon Musk photosynthesizes attention the same way plants do. It's how he lives. Which initially that headline didn't impress.
He trained in the metaverse. He absolutely did not train in the metaverse. He absolutely did fucking train in the real verse, in the universe. He's peeled. He's peeled. You have to respect it. I hate that like Mark Zuckerberg, who's a horrifying lizard person and a monster, was able to genuinely do something that that most human beings would look at and respect. I hate to give it to him. Not only did he do it right, but also on top of that, he set his targets on the only other billionaire that is just as annoying, if not worse, than he is, Elon Musk. That's the difference. And now he has, in a very clever way, created a universe where even someone like myself would be championing him. Like, I think it's great. I want him to rip eyeballs out of his sockets, okay? I want him to fucking go for the throat. I want him to do permanent damage. Winner gets all the data stolen from social media users. I think they're going to keep doing that. It's great. Rarely ever, listen. Rarely do you ever get the Roman upper crust fighting in the Colosseum, okay, in a gladiator battle. It's usually peasants, slaves, former champions that were enslaved after conquest. It's never the actual, grape-eating, slave-having, concubine-having emperors that actually go out there and duke it out. And I want to see that really fucking bad. And anyone that says that they don't want to see it is lying, okay? Straight up. Who wouldn't want to see that? Especially because both sides have different advantages, okay? Mark Zuckerberg is actually in shape and has been training a lot. Elon Musk, on the other hand, has not been training at all and is in horrifyingly bad shape. Has like the craziest chest you've ever seen, and I don't mean like in a sexy way. I mean like he just has like a massive barrel chest. His balance is all fucked up. Looks like a goddamn tub of mayo. And on top of that, he has no cardio whatsoever. So the situation is, well, I mean, let me talk about his pros though in this situation, because he is a lot heavier, right? He is a lot heavier. Here's a highlight video of Mark Zuckerberg and I training jiu-jitsu. I look forward to training with Elon Musk as well. This is Lex Fridman's universe, dude. This is like the happiest he will ever be. Just grappling with like billionaire lizard people. Oh my god, he looks so happy.
Nice, Mark. There it is.
Didn't he also do one with Elon as well? Where's the one with Elon? The thing is, I don't know shit about fucking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Let's be real, okay? I don't know anything about it. Okay, looks kind of gay to me. Good on them. Pretty sure he also trained with Elon Musk. They didn't upload those videos. I wonder why. I wonder what that says about Elon Musk's skills in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay? So, I think the advantage that Elon Musk has over Dick Zuckerberg is that he is, he's a lot fatter. He's got a lot more weight. I don't know how that works in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know if they're training and they're going to fight in MMA. I don't know what the battle is, what the battle boundaries are going to be. Right? Is it no holds barred? Are they doing mixed martial arts? So like BJJ is allowed and so is stand-up fighting. Because there are certainly areas where Elon Musk could potentially get a lucky jab or something like that. If they're doing like a stand-up fight. Weight does mean a little bit in fights. That's why there are weight classes. However, the one thing that doesn't matter, okay, the one thing that does not matter is if one side is just not trained at all and the other side is pretty well trained. Does that make sense? I also don't know what the what the rules are. I don't know what kind of fight they're going to be engaging in.
Berg versus Elon Musk will not be close. The internet has broke these past couple of weeks rumors of a super fight in the cage between two tech giants, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. This fight first sparked when Elon Musk tweeted, "I'll for a cage match if he is hello."
Which is so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Why? He's the one who goated it. It's so stupid. You're such an idiot, dude. Of course you're gonna chicken out.
Well, in response to a potential meta project called Threads that seeks to rival Twitter, Mark would respond on his Instagram story with the words, "Send me location," and when this got to Twitter, Elon would respond with, "This is real, I will do it," 2 fire emojis. From here, all hell would break loose. Play for jabs over Twitter.
I'm gonna be honest, if I'm Mark Zuckerberg, I'm using this till the end of time. I'm just constantly shitting on Elon. Send me location is a classic Khabib line. Yes, exactly. That's what he did, which was kind of cool. And I hate to admit that because I hate both these fucking clowns. Oh my god. It's like the classic Joe Rogan sentiment, which is mixed martial arts will actually develop person skills and also give you like real confidence in the real world. It has happened to this android of a human. Okay? He started training really fucking hard. He fixed his body up. He now has like, he now comes across like a normal human being, which I hate. I hate that. This is making Zuck look like a human being a little bit. When paired up with Elon Musk, all of a sudden, you're like, well, okay, Mark Zuckerberg, definitely, I'm rooting for him. Like, I want him to rip his dick off and twist it.
Instagram soon evolved into an actual fight event with talks of Dana White hosting the event under the UFC.
I love his licking his lips like, yeah.
Banner in an MMA cage. Based on his TMZ interview, he seems completely serious about setting up this fight in an actual UFC card. John Jones even tweeted that he would help train Mark Zuckerberg, and in response, GSP said he would be helping Elon in his corner. And in a recent pic posted by Lex Friedman, it shows Elon potentially training alongside GSP and legendary coach John Danaher. Additionally, there's been rumors of the Italian government even trying to get this fight in the fucking Coliseum. And as much as I would love to see this fight actually be made, if this fight were to actually happen, it would not.
Yeah, it's not great because the AI image that they're using of Elon Musk is of a much younger Elon Musk who doesn't look like that. And the AI image that they're using of Mark Zuckerberg is also a Mark Zuckerberg that doesn't, they kind of look like one another in the AI image. What the fuck's going on? That picture of Elon is like 20 years old, man. Like, he doesn't look like that no more. Also, why does Mark kind of look like Elon a little bit? It's weird.
Be close. Here's why. So starting off this breakdown, let's go over the basic physicals. Just to note, most of these numbers are just estimates of what I could find from the internet, so it could be more, it could be less. Mark Zuckerberg is 39 years old, stands at about 5'7", weighs at about 155 pounds, and his reach is unknown. Elon Musk is 52 and towers over Mark in comparison, standing at 6'2" and weighing around 200 pounds.
This is why I said the stand-up portion of the fight could go either way, in either direction. That's why I don't know if it's like a straight BJJ fight or if it's like his weight is not just over 200 pounds. He's like at least 260, okay? Maybe 250. I'm sorry. The idea that Elon is anywhere near 200 pounds is fucking silly. I'm 6'4", 245 pounds, and I have a fuck ton more muscle mass than this fucking dude, okay? No shot. That dude is all... He said he's 300. Elon Musk says he weighs 300 pounds. If the Zuckerberg cage match becomes a long fight, Zuck will win on endurance. The only aspect of this fight is if... I don't know how well or how much Dick Zuckerberg has trained on striking, but Elon does have a reach advantage. That is the reason why I think it's like a little... Elon will absolutely have a reach advantage, and he absolutely has a weight advantage. So, depending on how good Zucker is, because the only thing we know about Dick Zuckerberg is that he's very good at BJJ, you know? That's the only thing we know. And he's actually pretty decent at BJJ, right? But we don't know how good he is at striking. And BJJ is you know, you need to, like if you're doing mixed martial arts, if it's not just like a straight jiu-jitsu fight, obviously, in that situation, the stand-up portion is going to be equally interesting. Almost all MMA fights go to the ground somewhere, yeah, except I don't think either of these dudes know how to take a punch. That's number one. So the person with the reach advantage and the person with the weight advantage could absolutely thrive with something lucky. He opens up with like a lucky ass fucking strike and the situation could be very different. Ultimately though, if it goes to the ground, I think the Dick Zuckerberg will cook him, okay? I don't think Elon has knockout power or anything like that. But it's not like these guys aren't super well trained fighters, I assume.
Based on these shirts is. So if you're not a fight fan, you would probably see these stats and say Elon should be able to dominate Mark based on the sheer size difference. What I'm here to argue is going to be the other way around, despite such a large height and weight difference. Now, if we get into the MMA experience of both men, Mark Zuckerberg's MMA experience is much more advanced than Elon, who practically has no training. About 9 months ago, Mark Zuckerberg posted some clips of him doing MMA training, and even did a little promotional video of Metaverse where he fought Alexander Volkanovski, and I have to admit, he looks very good based on these videos. He says he's a beginner, his striking is not bad. It's definitely tight and you can tell he's a beginner, but he has decent form for his punches and he turns his hips when he his low kick. But what really impressed me was jiu-jitsu. For podcasts, I think Mark has been training purely in jiu-jitsu for over a year and possibly months before he got into training. And also a couple weeks before this, news broke that Mark legitimately won a jiu-jitsu tournament. And from videos of his training, it definitely looks like he's past the beginner stage of jiu-jitsu and knows what he's doing. And I haven't even mentioned that he could do this. I think the first 10 minutes or so of his interview with Lex Friedman in his second appearance gives great insight into his understanding of jiu-jitsu in general.
This motherfucker put legs in the metaverse specifically so he could do this fight sequence.
Essentially, he has recognized the initial difficulty of learning a martial art and how he had to fail several times before succeeding. And I think his use of semi-location just shows he's truly a fan of mixed martial arts. This is a sharp contrast to Elon Musk's training and thinking or life.
Doug is likely getting exclusively privately trained too, so his growth might be faster than normal for physicality. I don't think so. Let me tell you why. Okay? I don't think Elon Musk is actually training for this. I'm not even kidding. Elon Musk has never under-promised and overperformed. He has only, throughout his career, if you look at every single aspect of his life, he has only overpromised and underperformed. And he's never been punished for it. Okay? He's never done the opposite. There's never been a moment where he's like, oh yeah, I'm actually really bad. And then like it turns out he's really fucking good. That has never happened. So judging by his Twitter fingers versus or looking at his past record on this, I do not believe even for a moment that he is actually putting in the time and effort necessary to learn mixed martial arts and to have a level of proficiency that will allow him to not look like a fucking clown ass when he's in the octagon. There's no shot. No amount of steroids and working out is going to get you there when you gas out in the
What the world's gotten to people like me. If I write you a check, right? If I push a check, if I write it, I'm going to write it now, on a piece of paper. Take it easy. Calm down. We're talking.
Sure.
This is $5 million.
Okay.
Head stomps. We got to fight the beast.
Derek?
I'm just talking.
No. Not 5 million would do it. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're not far off. That's what's insane.
Take it easy.
That's what's insane.
Take it easy.
That's insane.
Let's not start throwing numbers around. Just everybody calm down.
I'm just saying.
We're on the internet.
That's where
We're
your
on
boys.
the internet.
Hey.
People are gonna run with these things.
That's where your boys.
All right, take it easy.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the latest episode of The Fighter and the Kid was funny as hell. I don't know if it was because they were podcasting from the Drinking Bro studio in Austin, Texas, you know, a bit of a change of scenery, but it was funny as fuck. And this fight talk is just getting louder and louder. I'm convinced now that Brian Callen is being 100% serious, who isn't joking around. It might look like he was just talking smack, but beneath the surface, he wants that check. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean in a moment, because Bappa's comeback fight was basically the subject of half this podcast. The other half was some sketchy ass gay talk, which is fine if that's what you're into. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Shout out to any Seinfeld fans, but there's a point where the joke goes on so long that you start to ask questions. Bappa even floated the idea of hitting OnlyFans for the right price for some guy-on-guy action. So we'll get to all of that shortly. Just quickly though, if you haven't already subscribed, sort that shit out. We're at ground level, sitting at 240 subscribers, so get on board now so you don't miss out on future uploads and updates. But hey, listen, let's get back on track with Bappa and his comeback fight. Like I said, Callen is pushing this way too hard. After bringing up that $5 million number floating around, he kept pushing it. It's obvious he's planting the seed and hoping everyone will help it grow. So check out this clip where Brian Callen supposedly draws the line in the sand. He basically says that the head stomps are a deal breaker for him. Take a look.
I saw some numbers thrown around. I'm talking if we can get you in the ring, get it. We all need some cash.
Now I will say this: the amount of money Jorge's team threw around is.
Let's take it easy.
It pumped your ego up, and I'm gonna appreciate you have that value of me. You got all my attention, and it's a real stroke to the ego. I appreciate that. I really do.
Okay, let me say
I'm not worth that. I'll tell you right now. You're gonna lose all your money. Right?
Well, I'll say this: there are people that they would throw in front of you.
That's not happening.
Head stomps.
That's the offer I got, and Brian's like, entertain it, dude. You just take him down. I'm like, you out of your fucking mind.
No. When I heard there were head stomps, I was like, well, I can't have that. I can't have that.
So that's not happening. But now they're throwing around some...
I can't have you doing a podcast eating out of a straw.
No, it's not happening.
You know, where I got to wipe the drool off your mouth.
No,
That's not
it's not happening. It's not happening. Now some other names, though.
I see the line in the sand.
I could beat that guy tonight.
Trying to find out
big games,
who I am.
I don't call anybody out, I don't want to.
You big boy.
Looking up to see where
exactly
I stand.
Basically, setting the ground rules for Bappa to fight Derek Lewis.
Evolution.
No headbutting and no head stomps. Just straight up MMA. And this is how these things go. They start with the No way, we're not
I
doing that.
see the line
Concessions are made
in the
behind the scenes, big numbers are thrown around, and before you know it,
trying
the
to
fight is
find
on. I
out
could be wrong,
who
but
I
if you listen to
am.
this next clip, you can see just how truly desperate Brian Callen is. Check it out, and then I'll break down my theory on what's going on here.
Hey, can you call me 5 million Brendan?
I'm not calling that.
Brendan, 5 million Shaw.
You don't take any of my offers seriously. You don't take any of my offers seriously.
Hey, all bullshit aside, how serious were they?
It was pretty wild. It was pretty wild.
And then my manager, Lex, my brother from another mother, Lex calls me literally the next morning and goes, talk to Dean, man, where's your head at on this thing? Like, what the fuck? What are you talking? I go,
First he said,
I know you
Could
called
you
me.
No, at first he brought you in the room and he goes, because here's the thing about it. You get a big check, I'm obviously getting my piece. Not to be a dick, but I have, because otherwise my mouth starts to run. I don't want my mouth to run. So you want to keep my beak wet, keep me happy.
You got a big old beak.
I'll bring the whole house down.
You got a big, dry, stupid beak.
My beak has been in the sand for quite a while. So I'm not letting you go fight and get all the attention without cutting your manager.
And it's also good for ratings. You want that?
Need a piece.
Yeah.
Need a piece. That's good manners.
Yeah.
That's
good
good
business.
business. That's called good business.
That means you're a good business partner.
To your
Welcome
own,
back
to your
to
fucking elders, to your mentor.
You know what? And I like where your head's at on this because.
No way I'm playing against Ronnie.
That's killing me for carrying this thing. Right?
Is that really
So I was
Ronnie?
like, oh, Brian's taking some initiative.
No.
This is great.
Yeah. Now Lex, because I got super excited.
Lex took
you in the room.
An old talkie talk.
He took him into the room and went, "Hey, we're not doing this. What are you thinking?" Because I could see you got a little competitive. You got a little competitive.
Did he say don't do it?
Well, then they started throwing around some things.
All right, let me break this down. These guys are rolling around in the Bro Rogan universe, where everyone's got a podcast, everyone's got some side hustles, and there's a lot of money being thrown around. Callen and Bubba are still kind of sitting on the outside. They want that big Joe Rogan paycheck. Tom Segura is killing it, Tim Dillon's killing it, Bert Kreischer, the list goes on. But these two are still kind of sitting in that outer circle. You can tell how desperate Brian Callen is for that paycheck. He's seriously considering a way to get Bubba in that ring with Derek Lewis. Everyone knows that's a massive payday. Like I said in a previous video, I am 100% down for that pay-per-view. These guys are getting older. The window for Bubba into the ring and pulling big numbers is quickly closing. If they're going to do it, it's got to be soon before the fizz really runs out. And if they're going to do it, it's got to be something big. That's why Callen is floating this at every possible occasion. He's nagging for this to happen because he wants that breakthrough paycheck. Anyway, I could be wrong. Maybe he's just talking shit. And to be honest, after the fight discussion died down, they didn't really have much else to talk about. The conversation quickly went downhill and they started floating cringy ideas around, like Bubba going onto OnlyFans. Then they started critiquing each other's bodies. They got into dick size, which was really fucking weird. And then they dragged Joe Rogan into it. I don't know, it was still kind of funny, but they raised some serious questions here. Let's roll the tape so you guys can check it out.
Everybody's got a number. Everybody's got a number. Everybody's got a number.
Oh yeah, no, I'll do OnlyFans for a certain number.
That's right.
I'll show my feet, my wheel, I don't care.
There you go.
For a certain number? That number's high.
Now on that OnlyFans, would you do? I'm writing you a check. You got to do a little guy stuff.
You play
a
with
little
my butt?
college stuff. Well, we're moving around. That's all. You just move around and find you a good-looking young twink. You can move around.
And we just like oil up and wrestle. There's no penetration.
Look, you for all the joke aside that you make fun of me being basically a half a gay man.
Yeah.
With poppers and just some feel-good drugs, I promise you go 100%.
Evolution.
I'm giving you a good check, and I'm gonna get you sauced up on all the right nitrates.
Dude,
all the right. Dan, what's the drug? What's the sex drug? We got Molly, huh?
Molly.
MDMA. So we get little Molly in him. Get a couple toots of blow, but with Viagra mixed in there, so he doesn't lose his dong.
Dude, if I didn't have kids, line the boys up. Bukkake video for the right now.
The problem is the kids. The kids with the damper over.
Oh, dude, the kids came over.
Dad,
they get bullied for the
in
rest
college,
of their life.
your friends are like, what'd you say? And they just show that.
Game over.
You're like, I'm done.
So you're saying I got a Polynesian upper body, a white girl lower body, black man dick.
I never said that either.
Yep.
But listen, your dick is participating.
It's in the game.
There it is.
It's not gonna blow your hair back.
It's not gonna blow your hair back, but there it is.
But we can work with that.
You work with it?
We can work. Oh no. I got my work cut out.
You got shoulders. You got. Girls are not that into some of them are, but a lot of girls are gonna be.
Dicks?
They're not gonna be. They're not gonna be. They're not into.
Huge dick.
Yeah.
This sounds like you got small dick, right?
Huh?
It sounds like you got small dick. That's small dick energy.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's right. I see that. Yeah, you got a dick. I give you that, Daddy. I give you that. That's it. That's one thing I can't take away, dude.
Hey.
Your genetics suck, but your dick.
Hey, what is my genetics? I got an apple bottom. Not bad.
You average guy, right?
Not really though, because I got energy.
Average guy with big dick energy.
You know who's crazy flexible?
Joe
Rogan is the most flexible motherfucker.
Don't do
He
it.
sucks his own dick, I bet.
100%.
Yeah.
He is at 56. He can do the splits. I don't know anybody that age. He's fucking with. We had a meeting one time in Hollywood, and this was when we were probably 32, and he was like, "You do martial arts, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, I want to work my flexibility." He goes, "What do you mean?" And he grabbed both. He was sitting on the couch. He grabbed both his fucking. Yes, he grabbed both his ankles and pulled them out the way a porn star. You know when a porn star just opens her legs like that?
A stripper.
He did that on
Like
the
a
couch
stripper.
in a Hollywood meeting. He just went in jeans. And I was like, what the fuck? And the guy was like, oh my God.
And he wears those flexible jeans.
Oh yeah. Those Bill
Just
Russell,
so he can stretch.
those Bill Russell sidekick jeans.
He's a gay man's delight. Flexible like
Not
that.
so much anymore. Now he's a bridge troll. You get older and you just become.
I don't know. A lot of gay dudes be all into that.
He's daddy. He's daddy to a lot of twins.
Big sugar daddy.
He can pay all my bills.
Oh yeah.
He's attractive. I mean, there are a lot of. I don't know though. I used to be yummy to gay men, and I knew I was getting older when they just stopped looking at me. I was on the beach with my wife, our dear friends. This woman has a lot of gay friends, and these gay men come down to the beach with us. They don't have kids, Bubba, and they're in their 30s. So you know what they do all day?
Yeah, they can't procreate.
Berries. They do berries boot camp and lift weights. So every one of them looks like a CrossFit champion because that's what they do, and they're probably working some TRT and stuff. Because if you're gay, your tits and ass are
You better
currency.
be on point. You better be on point. Yeah.
So they're all shaved down, jacked out of their fucking minds.
Just busting nuts on each other.
Oh, I mean, they were, and every single one of them was actually the volleyball, spike ball. I mean, all kids, a lot of them were from the South, so they grew up doing sports and pretending they were straight.
So basically these podcasts are turning into little brainstorming sessions where they try and come up with ideas on how to make a quick buck. I know they're also having a laugh, which is fine, but I think this is one of the reasons why Joe Rogan is so far ahead of all these Muppets. Don't get me wrong, Joe's not perfect, more on that in another video, but at least he knows how to have an actual conversation with his guests. He doesn't get bogged down in, oh, we should do this or we should do that. Guys like Brian Callen and Bappa should probably focus on creating good content rather than just scheming 24/7. Ironically, that's why they're probably stuck in a rut financially. They've run out of ideas and they're basically back to square one. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Remember, best comment gets pinned. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and become a subscriber so you can keep up to date with all my latest uploads. I'll chat to you guys soon. See you in the next one.
How about the fact that like yesterday in Austin, there's a bachelorette party, and we're used to being all our fans are bros. I am actually.
1,000 years ago, the English language had established its first base camp. What started as a guttural tribal dialect, seemingly isolated in a small island, is now the language of well over 1,000 million people around the world.
Hey, Jags up there. Nothing is I got it. And then you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So recognizing that, putting the recognition out there, that word, as long as you know what I'm saying. But
I've had a little bit of an issue with this intro because how do you describe Nate Diaz in just a couple of sentences? I mean, he's
Hey, on the house. Hey, yo. Hey, on the house.
I think comedian Bill Burr captured this vibe the best.
And Nate Diaz reminds me of every fucking dude I ever had detention with and went to summer school with, right? That dude who he wouldn't crack. Even if he knew you did it, he wouldn't say it. Right?
To me, though, Nate Diaz is a guy with an extremely rare quality. He's just not able to lose. I don't mean that literally, of course. His actual record has plenty of losses on it, with the latest one coming to Jake Paul. What I mean is, Nate is somehow able to come out looking better.
Hey, over here, bro.
His opponents do him. And I think that anybody that followed this career even a little bit would agree. He just has an ability to look cool and no accuracy. I do think that a lot of that is natural, but in this video, I'll also break down
get this money,
some
Sam.
of that is by design, despite what many people believe. This guy is not dumb. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's start where it all began, with 209. When Nate Diaz was only a kid, he had an argument with his friend over the correct way to flip the bird. His friend was a classic guy, and he figured that the proper gesture was to ball the remaining fingers up, kind of like this, while Nate said that the only way to do it was the way that Eminem did it, with the remaining finger.
This video is brought to you by Manscaped. China is controlling America's weapons industry and dictating the pace at which the American military
Little boy.
progress. In a shocking move, China just
Little boy.
the export of rare earth metals to the United States as
Just
retaliation
chatting.
for what the U.S. did with the microchip scenario.
Just chatting.
This new restriction poses a new danger, as advanced U.S. weapons are almost entirely reliant on rare earth materials that are almost only made in China, something that Beijing knows all too well. What may come of this debacle is a hurting military, a potential shift in geopolitical power, and an angry United States that's out for blood and more revenge. The news coming out of Beijing might possibly be one of the biggest threats to world peace of this present time.
China has decided to ban the export to America of two rare earth metals, gallium and germanium.
China is the world's largest supplier of bullet propulsion for the development of products such as semiconductors, solar panels, electric vehicles,
Missile systems and controls on the exports of key rare minerals that only it produces.
So, let's get into details. What are rare earth metals in the first place? And why does everyone seem to want them so badly? What does this China export ban mean for the United States and its allies? And maybe most importantly, what does this mean for the U.S. military and the geopolitics around it? All these are very crucial questions that I'll answer today as we explore this very explosive topic. As always, your support with liking the videos and commenting is very much appreciated. It's that support that gets me going even when the channel covers topics that are less than ideal for the algorithms and sponsors. You know, explosive topics. I really appreciate my business basics fail. Now, back to the basics. So, where to start with all this? You see, this month, Chinese officials announced that the government will impose export restrictions on gallium and germanium products, along with other rare earth elements that are used in computer chips and other components. They say they are doing so to protect China's national security interests. For most of us, however, we are seeing this action for what it is. It's retaliation. Earlier this year, the U.S. limited its own exportation of high-tech microchips, something extremely crucial for China, and this left the Asian nation out of the rain. Click on the link in the description to watch that video. As part of retaliatory measures, China has now cut something crucial for the U.S. as well, rare earth metals. This export restriction, which is going into effect on the 1st of August, is going to critically affect the U.S., given that China enjoys a global dominance in the production of these rare earth metals. In fact, rare earth metals are so far up China's field that the former chairman of the CCP party, Deng Xiaoping, once said, "The Middle East has oil, China has rare earth metals." Only now are we starting to realize what the implications that such monopolies
China go boop boop.
Politics and the very fragile fabric of world peace. Before we proceed, I'm sure some of you are asking, what are these rare earth metals anyway? And how come China can dictate their production? Don't worry, I'll answer them for you. We're doing Geology 101 now.
Don't
These
make
rare
it,
earth materials
don't
we're discussing
make
are a group of 17 elements used in products ranging from lasers
don't
and
blink
military
it,
equipment
don't
to
blink.
magnets found in neodymium, promethium, and I'll just put the rest of it straight. They are quite a handful to name and sequence, you know? So, yes, these ones. Even though you might have never heard of half of these elements, you really can't undervalue just how essential they are. One might say they are the vitamin fuel for modern technology. I mean, think about it.
Hey, bro, we gotta go over here. Come on, bro.
These rare earth elements are necessary components for more than 200 products across a wide range of applications, especially high-tech consumer products like cell phones, computer hard drives, electric and hybrid vehicles, and flat-screen monitors and televisions. These are things that everyday people cannot do without, as even our militaries are very dependent on these. Significant defense applications for these rare earth elements include electronic displays, guidance systems, lasers, and radar and sonar systems. You see, every military branch, from the Army to the Navy, is in critical need of these rare earth elements.
We gotta go over here. Come on.
It's critical to note that although the amount of rare earth materials used in a product like a fighter jet or a missile guidance system may not be a significant part of that product by weight,
why you move like that? Why you?
materials are completely necessary for the device to function. In fact, in most products, the rare earth materials often represent only a small fraction of the total weight.
Why you move like that? Why you doing like that?
Laptops were not possible.
Okay.
All this said, isn't it ironic
Okay.
that one nation that controls the entire world's supply
Why
of
you
these is
move
America's
like that? Why you doing like that?
Talk about the irony. Before moving on, I want to thank today's sponsor, Manscaped. Now,
Manscaped is skipping it.
And ship these rare aliens out to China, having monopoly on these rare earth metals. To understand that, we need to understand the formation of these elements. You see, rare earth materials were common when the Earth was accreting, and so they are more abundant in the inner parts of the planet. They concentrate on the surface only places where mantle eruptions have worked their way up to the crust, mostly in igneous materials. But unlike more familiar metals such as gold and copper, rare earth materials don't clump in single element chunks. Instead, rare earth metals all weight together as hot rocks are crystallizing. Recoverable concentrations can be found in several minerals, such as bastnasite and monazite. The challenge with rare earth metals is that refining these minerals into individual elements takes many days of heavy processing. Therein lies the problem with these elements and metals. You see, it's not so much that they are rare, but that they are hard to get. This
Whose man is that?
where they can access and process them.
Whose man is that?
Rare earth mineral extraction is so hard on the environment for a number of reasons, and hence its processing and even extraction is difficult. Few countries are in the place where they have the deposits, the technology, and the laws to take advantage of this. Firstly, rare earth minerals are typically found in very low concentrations, which means that a large amount of ore must be mined to extract a small amount of the desired mineral. It's a whole needle in a haystack situation. The needle is so valuable that you want it, but you destroy mountains of hay just to get to it. So in this way, mining rare earth minerals can result in significant environmental impacts, such as land degradation and water pollution. That's why situations like these tend to develop. Another reason why rare earth mineral extraction is difficult is because the minerals are often found in association with other heavy metals, such as thorium and uranium, which, can be radioactive. This means that special precautions must be taken to ensure the safe handling of these materials. I don't need to explain what uncontrolled radiation can do to humans and the environment. Just in case you were thinking of it, it will turn you into the Hulk. No, I'm kidding, that's just the movies. The real effects are much sadder and fatal. Lastly, the process of extracting rare earth minerals from ore is complex and energy intensive. This can result in significant greenhouse gas emissions and other environmental impacts. I think you're starting to see the pattern of environmental degradation here. It's no wonder there is always stark opposition to these mines whenever one is found, much like in the situation here.
If the mine gets the go-ahead, the first thing that will affect us is dust, followed by radioactive radiation. Those things will start from the first day of production. That's going to affect our water supply, and it's only 3 kilometers away from the mining site, meaning we won't be able to continue living in Narsak.
As for why more countries are not mining rare earth minerals, there are a number of reasons for this as well. Firstly, many countries do not have the necessary infrastructure or technical expertise to extract these minerals. I will dig deeper into this point in a few
Why
minutes,
you
and you will
move
see why
like that?
America
Why you
China
being
reigns
like
to its
that?
own doom. Additionally, the rare earth minerals are often found in remote or politically unstable regions,
Bro, why would you
which
shoot
can make
that?
mining difficult and risky. Finally, many countries are focusing on developing other sources of critical minerals as a way to reduce their dependence on imported rare earth minerals. However, it might be some time before these are viable enough to dethrone the utility of the rare earth minerals themselves. I mentioned before that the US might have given China the keys to this glorious monopoly. Well, they did. The United States has one of the richest rare earth mineral deposits in the world, a mountain pass in California. When this deposit was discovered, it was all the rage. But as interest in rare earth materials declined in the US in the late 20th century, China's interest was heating up. Around this time, Chinese scientists had visited during the Nixon administration and taken their knowledge home, applying it to their own rich deposits. As production growth abroad grew and mounting environmental pressures here in the US increased, the production of rare earth minerals was shifted overseas to China, where conditions were quote-unquote better. To top it off, China also offered cheaper labor costs, so it was almost a no-brainer. By the end of the 20th century, China was able to undersell the competition and drive most of the rest of the world out of the business. In fact, according to one 2018 report from the Department of Defense, China strategically flooded the global market with rare earth materials at cheaper prices to drive out and deter current and future competitors. Let's just look at the growth pattern here very quickly. In 1993, 38% of world production of rare earth elements was in China. 33% was in the
Why
US,
you move like that? Why you this like that?
was in Malaysia and India. Several other countries, including Brazil, Canada, South Africa, Sri Lanka, and Thailand, made up the remainder. However, in 2008, China accounted for more than 90% of the world's production of rare earth metals. And by 2011, China accounted for 97% of the world's production. All these tactics and rates of progression have left China in a position of envy. At present, China enjoys a whopping large market share of approximately 90% of the production of rare earth elements globally. To break it down, China is, by far, the largest producer of usable rare earth metals, accounting for 60% of rare earth mining, 85% of rare earth processing, and 90% of high-strength rare earth permanent magnet manufacturing. This puts China squarely in a place where it can control the production of materials critical to green technology and modern-day weapon systems. The US, for all of its might, is completely reliant on China for these minerals that it desperately needs for its various weapon system programs. High-temperature magnets, the production of which China owns 100%, is a major component of weapon systems that even the US can't do without. This gives China a tremendous edge in the game of geopolitics. I'll dive more into that in just a minute. What is clear to see is that China's power within the rare earth market has created a supply chain dominance that has made it impossible for other countries to contend with them on any impactful level. It has also given China significant leverage over economic adversaries. The truth of the matter is that China is so far ahead in the extraction and production of these rare earth elements that even if the US began to pour resources into these industries today, it would still have to fight pretty significantly to even find footing. Not dominance, just footing. China's many years in the game has given it access to information, knowledge, and skill sets that are far beyond those of its fellow nations. That's why it's critical to realize that China's economic dominance in these markets doesn't come from the physical mining of tech metals, but instead from the refining and processing of them. That information is the critical bedrock of China's dominance. They might not have all the world's deposits, but they know how to best process deposits that are not even theirs. Let me give an example of what I'm talking about. China doesn't mine any cobalt, but despite this, it refines 85% of the world's cobalt. To add to that, it also controls 100% of the world's graphite production, a necessary metal for electric vehicles. All this just speaks to China's dominance of the industry. What makes China's monopoly of this entire sector scary is the insatiability of Beijing's foreign policy. In all fairness, it's simply protection of their own interests, even if they clash with Beijing. That playing out of foreign policy by different nations is what can result in actions such as right now. For example, China's retaliation came after the U.S. government took certain steps. What steps, you ask? These.
Alarm bells are ringing in the United States this time on semiconductors.
U.S. officials have ordered chip export restrictions to China. Washington has imposed sweeping controls on exports of semiconductors.
What has been harshest ban on China's high-tech industry ever implemented?
It all started on the 7th of October last year, when the Biden administration imposed a sweeping set of export controls meant to curb China's growth. These included measures to cut off China from certain semiconductor chips and chip-making equipment, something that is critical in the manufacturing of modern technology. No, really, microchips are essential in everything, from your fridge to your very phone. Under these rules, U.S. companies were directed to cease supplying Chinese chip makers with equipment that can produce relatively advanced chips, unless they first obtain a license. It goes without saying that this license was, and is, still incredibly hard to acquire. The new regulations imposed also added controls on some semiconductor production items and transactions for specific end uses of some integrated chips or circuits. The U.S. also wanted to increase its export controls on products and software, technology, and other things used to develop and make integrated circuits. As a further restriction, U.S. citizens and green card holders have also been banned from working on technologies for Chinese companies and entities. Basically, Washington said if it's China, it's a no. This was Washington's own move to restrict China's growth. China, realizing what this meant, has now decided to have its own vengeance, and hence it institutes its own bans on rare earth metals.
Decided to restrict exports of gallium or germanium.
Two elements used to build computer chips.
Minerals essential for microchips as well as electric vehicles, fiber optic cables.
China produces 95% of the world's supply.
Now that China has played this hand, it has become increasingly apparent to the U.S. and her allies that China can weaponize access to its rare earth minerals whenever it chooses to do so. This threat is now pushing Western countries to find new sources of supply and alternate solutions, given the severity of this matter. This ain't the first time China has used the rare earth elements to its advantage. It first happened in 2010, so let me take you back. In September of 2010, a Chinese fishing boat rammed two Japanese Coast Guard vessels in the contested East China Sea islands. The Japanese government announced its intention to put the fishing boat's captain on trial, given that he was assumed to have been drunk and hostile when the event occurred. Seeing this, the Chinese government retaliated with several measures that included an embargo on rare earth sales to Japan. This could potentially have had a devastating effect on Japan's industries, given that, at a point, they were 100% reliant on China's rare earth elements. Their auto industry, in particular, relied big time on the cooperation they had with China, as rare earth elements are a crucial part of catalytic converters of engines. China proceeded to threaten a limited supply of rare earth metals to the rest of the world. This threat was taken seriously enough that the United States, the European Union, Japan, and several other nations filed suit with the World Trade Organization in protest. The World Trade Organization then ruled that China could not put limits on rare earth exports for the benefit of other global economies. This ruling, however, was not immediate, and it did not occur until 4 years after the filing. And by this time, the Chinese was denying that it had imposed an embargo, saying that China needs more rare earth minerals for its own development. Were growing pretty exponentially. This fact may be supported that even before this, by 2005, China had been restricting exports, causing concern in the Pentagon about shortages of 4 rare earth metals, namely lanthanum, cerium, europium, and gadolinium, that were causing delays in producing certain weapons. However, in light of China's other actions, it's hard to tell. Even when China was forced to export rare earth metals, it still worked against the rest of the globe. This is because China then flooded the market with cheaper rare earth metals and forced all the upcoming industries in other nations to close down, as they simply could not compete with the Chinese prices. This increased China's monopoly, making it even more concentrated than before, as several nations now relied on them. Back to the cause of this, the 2010 Japanese dispute. Although Japan later released the Chinese captain, this incident alerted Japan that it had to find other ways of obtaining rare earth metals. Within weeks of the incident, Japanese experts were visiting countries with other significant rare earth resources, such as Mongolia, Vietnam, and Australia, to make inquiries. By November of 2010, Japan had reached a tentative long-term supply agreement with Australia's Lynas Group. Japan now obtains 30% of its rare earth metals from Lynas. Interestingly, state-owned China non-ferrous metal mining had tried to purchase a majority stake in Lynas only the year before. Given China's own large deposits of rare earth, it's easy to see that this purchase was spearheaded by China's own desire to corner the world market for supply as well as production. The Australian government blocked the sale to prevent that from happening. This was one of the first signs of other nations retaliating and lashing out at China's monopoly. For the United States, the issue of rare earth metals arose again in the context of the U.S.-China trade war. In May of 2019, China's leader Xi Jinping paid a well-publicized and highly symbolic visit to a rare earths mine in Jiangxi that was interpreted as highlighting the leverage his government has over Washington. Lest the implication be missed, Renmin Ribao, the official newspaper of the Chinese Communist Party's Central Committee, wrote, "We advise the U.S. side not to underestimate the Chinese side's ability to safeguard its development rights and interests. Don't say we didn't warn you." Pretty direct threat, don't you think? Observers noted that the expression, "don't say we didn't warn you," is used by
shot
media
percentage,
for very serious situations,
boost.
such as in 1978, before
Boost the
China invaded
man,
Vietnam,
boost.
and in a 2017 border dispute with India. To add to American concerns, as more advanced weapons are developed, which is constantly happening with the U.S. military, more rare earth metals are needed. Metals that are almost entirely owned by their greatest rivals since the Cold War. Let me put this into context for you to understand it better. For every F-35 fighter jet to be made, it requires 920 pounds of rare earth. Each Virginia-class submarine needs 10 times that amount, about 9,200 pounds. Given that the U.S. and its ridiculous budget are constantly adding more weapons to the arsenal, more rare earth metals, China knows this, hence interference. The Pentagon knows its compromised position, hence actions like this. Along with other countries, recently Japan has been exploring the possibility of tapping into deep undersea reserves. These nations are just desperately grasping at alternatives to try and have a foothold in the industry so that China doesn't dominate the industry going into the next few decades. But certain facts of this situation are hard to deny. This is why it might keep the balance of power skewed. As eager as nations like the U.S. and Japan are to topple China, it simply isn't that easy. A big part of that is because the extraction of rare earth elements is not easy at all. Extracting rare earth metals is truly a difficult process due to a combination of environmental, technical, and political factors. Many regions, including the European Union, have an abundance of these resources, but lack the expertise that other countries like China have in processing and packaging production.
To be decided. New Magni.
Let's start with the environmental problems. The rare earth elements industry has come under fire for environmental concerns. Many rare earth elements reside among mineral deposits with radioactive materials that can leach into the water table. Mining, processing.
So you think you know Wix?
I wanted to do a second video here in Venice Beach, but this time just walking through the neighborhood here and taking a look at what's going on, guys. Like, is the situation over here as bad as it used to be?
What's up with you?
So far, after
Are you
spending a
doing
little more
alright?
time here, I feel like it's not, you know? Like, I have not even seen one single homeless tent since I've been in Venice Beach, which is kind of crazy because you still see them by the beach and stuff in certain areas and things like that. But honestly, I haven't seen anything. So it seems like the enforcement that they have put into place around here, they're really being held accountable and really enforcing it, which is kind of a surprise, you know, because it seems like these days local cities and governments make all sorts of rules
Foogie Patrick,
and they never enforce any
don't
of
say
it.
in
But
Kabana
looks like
like blue,
people here are getting fed up enough with it that they are. So that's a good sign, I would say. Now, the first thing today is real estate investors in Australia are starting to pull out of the housing market there due to high interest rates. And the reason I wanted to cover this is because I feel like the same dynamic is happening here now or will happen in the near future because these interest rates make it impossible to turn a profit on a rental property right
killers.
now. When you're looking at the carrying cost of a property, especially here in the United States, at these rates and these prices, there's no profit. So why would anybody buy one of these investment properties? Well, in Australia, you're seeing a massive sell-off of rental properties from investors. And I'll get into a little bit later of why that's actually a problem. Now, this is out of the Queensland area over in Australia. And a company called PopTrack Research, they've been tracking the real estate market over there. And what they found was in 1 month, you had 8% of all home sales be investors selling their homes. And then the following month after that, it was 29.5% of all home sales that took place were from real estate investors unloading their property. And apparently this is the biggest investor sell-off throughout all of the states that they have over there. So basically what's happening is because it's becoming an impossibility to turn a profit, you have a bunch of landlords saying, you know what, I'm done, let's just sell the place. And what this is starting to suggest is now with interest rates being significantly higher, and along with all the carrying costs that you have to deal with when you own real estate, it's putting financial pressure on these investors and maybe negatively affecting their cash flow to the point where they're ready to sell. Now listen to this quote from this story. What's concerning is investor sentiment is very poor. Investors are a big pathway to building homes and a long-term solution to the rental crisis. We need a really strong investor component in the market to facilitate new supply coming in. Now this is why investors selling off and not having an interest in investing is a problem right now, guys, because I know that a lot of people like to demonize real estate investors when a lot of people cannot get their hands on their own property to live in right now. But the fact of the matter is, where the demand is highest, whether it comes from real estate investors or regular home buyers, is typically where home builders start looking at building new homes. And this applies here in the U.S., which is why I wanted to cover this story, because the dynamic here applies everywhere. And so if you have an area that's essentially dying and investors can't turn a profit and they're no longer interested in being in the area, well, what do you think is going to happen with home building? Probably going to come to a standstill. You're not going to have any developers interested in putting new developments there because no one wants to be here. We don't have investors that want to buy, and the regular home buyers aren't buying because they can't afford it. So we're not going to build here. So this is a bad thing, actually, in the end, when investors are saying they've had enough, because it's going to have an economic downturn effect on the area in general. Now, of course, it's not all bad news when we have investors going through a sell-off in any given area, because that gives regular home buyers a chance to step in and buy those properties. But obviously the problem is right now, home buyers are facing some of the same problems that investors are in terms of affordability, and does this even make any sense? Because a regular buyer doesn't have to turn a profit on that place, but they also need to be able to afford all the expenses and the carrying costs. And with where prices and rates are at today, that's just not the case for many folks, unfortunately. And the home building industry has some major headwinds to deal with right now, just facing their own problems. And that is, they have a labor shortage. Now, if you go by the traditional stats, they estimate that the U.S. is short about 4.3 million homes right now to meet the current demand, which sounds like way too much to me, especially when you consider that all the existing real estate that we have is going to come up for sale within the next 10, 15 years. Now what happened is during the Great Recession, there was about 1.5 million construction jobs that were lost. And a lot of homeowners went out of business during those days. And even to this day, the construction industry has not rebounded to where it was during this time. And so basically, they have fewer workers than ever trying to keep up with the demand of building all these homes. And it's taking longer than ever to build these homes. In 2022, it took an average of 8.3 months to build a single family home. And that's the longest average since the Census Bureau started collecting data back in 1971. So it is taking forever to build these houses, guys. And obviously that's not a good thing right now when people need a place to live and there's demand for housing in a certain given area, but there's no listings for sale.
This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment that is for rent that they're currently asking about $6,400 per month. And this is probably like less than a 10-minute walk to the beach, so it's pretty close to the beach. And that's pretty much on par with what rentals like this in Miami are going for these days. So that's what I keep telling you guys, like, it's pretty much just as expensive in Miami now as it is here. Here we have a house for sale.
My boy is too expensive, my boy.
And this house has not been sold since 2004, so it's not a flip or anything like that. They bought it back then for only $500,000, which I'm sure back then seemed like a lot of money. But today, that's pretty much the average home price. And now they're asking $2.2 million. I don't know if they'll get it, but they're going to make a killing if they do. The current property tax bill is about $11,000 a year.
My boy got the dog sleeve. My boy got the dog sleeve.
One of the big problems besides just the timeline,
bro, why is it all the right
on?
on,
Housing fast enough is the longer it takes to build a house, the more expensive building that house becomes. And guess what? The final cost of building that house is ultimately passed along to the buyer. So that's a problem when it comes to housing affordability in general, because if they could turn these houses around a little bit faster, it would be better for the price of new construction homes. But instead, people are having to wait longer than ever, and that is adding to the price. Look at this place, totally burned out. It's pretty bad. So it's estimated at the moment that the construction industry needs to add about 723,000 new jobs per year in order to keep up with the demand for new construction, guys. So that is a tremendous amount of people that they need right now to fill their shoes. And to put that in perspective, so far this year, there have been 350,000 construction jobs available every month on average. But the problem is they're not filling those jobs. They're not getting people to work. So far, guys, I have to say, like walking around the Venice Beach neighborhood here, this feels like walking around any other average neighborhood for the most part. Doesn't feel super unsafe. You know, I had this idea after seeing all the YouTube videos I've seen about this area that it's going to be super ghetto and pretty dangerous, but that really hasn't been the case at all. And I'm not trying to like pump up California or make it look better than it really is. I'm just sharing with you what I'm seeing here and you know, my impression after not being here for about 5 years. Now, one of the reasons construction also is running short on labor is because many construction workers are basically aging out of the business. You know, you have nearly a quarter of construction workers right now over the age of 55, and when they retire, there's no one to take their place. So these job openings keep piling up, but they're not filling the positions nearly at the rate that they need to. And part of the problem with all of this is this whole notion and mentality that we have in today's society that, oh, every kid needs to go to college, everybody needs to get a degree, everybody needs to go into massive debt in order to make any sort of living. Whereas in the past, you would have, you know, grandpa was a construction worker, and then the son's a construction worker, and his son after that was a construction worker. Same thing with all the other trades like plumbing and electricity, different things like that. It was pretty traditional and common for the kids to follow their parents' footsteps. And then of course they go on to blame the fact that immigration is slowing down, at least legal immigration, and that's part of the reason why you don't see as many construction workers anymore. I think we can all agree that most Americans don't have a problem with legal immigration. It's all the illegal immigration that a lot of people are upset about, because a lot of these construction managers are saying that our industry is 30% immigrants. So with a lower pool of immigrants coming in, it's hard harder to fill all the positions. And then there's another layer.
Fugitive. Fuzil. I just love Almeida.
Defeating a criminal who tries to attack you is surprisingly simple. You just need to follow the Romanian Rambo's 2 golden rules of self.
What the heck?
Water in a fucking cup and you fucked it up. A pussy out became princess. Beer bowl there. Scared of you be a shit sandwich. You can show the world how to fail. Look up failure in a dictionary. There's a picture of your stupid face. With your eyes closed. No. I don't want to.
And
what? Seriously? Seriously? He got a MILF. Toponga, California knows how to party. California knows how to party. In the city of California. In the city of California. In the city.
How you every old shot, nigga, who did you shoot? Pop you a bitch and you like 5'2". Back out the knocks and I'm ready to. Back out the knocks and I'm ready to. OYOGs when we spin it through. Bullets. You are my enemy, my enemy. You are my enemy. I see who you are. You are my enemy, my enemy. You are my enemy. it in evil, you turn on us all. Hungry for power, hungry for pain. You kill a man if he gets in your way. I walk through the valley of shadows. I'm not alone, no, I won't fear the hate. You are my enemy, my enemy. Hungry for pain, you kill a man. And if he gets in your way, I walk through the valley of shadows. I'm not alone, no, I won't fear the hate.
That's crazy. Well, break it, man.
You are my enemy, my enemy. You are.
Walk in this bitch, and I talk in this bitch. Walk in this bitch, and I talk in this bitch.
Theft in plain sight. Team, talk to your thing and find these thieves.
No! They need to call some.
You holding this train? Blood.
It's my bun.
Do you know how indulgent the Japanese
We gotta get Ritter out of there because Start! Well, the thing, but her dog is like seriously hurt, pretty bad, I think.
Yo, even the cat got it. Yo, that.
Well, pretty bad, I think. Dog is like well, the thing.
They all caught us strong. He going 9-9.
Yeah. Very important, right?
I'm like going over this.
He can't breathe.
That just happened.
Yeah.
just happened.
This lady tried to touch.
The Russian military is taking chips from dishwashers and refrigerators to fix their military hardware because there are no semiconductors anymore. Russia's industry is in tatters.
That's crazy, bro.
No.
What is this? Was this recent? Oh no.
Hey, what? Kill ya!
Donkey!
Lại rồi.
Donkey!
Yếu quá, sợ quá.
Hold on! Donkey, hold on!
I'm not gonna lie, kind of.
This cat attacked its owner 1,000 times in 10 days. 1 minute it's quietly crouching by the side, but the next moment, it suddenly attacked its owner. Luckily, the family took precautions. They were able to avoid being scratched by its sharp claws. After a few quick attacks, the cat turned around and went under the sofa. The boy was so scared that he scrunched his legs up. Just reacting, the blue cat jumped down from the sofa. He first looked at his owner. Then he hissed a warning to the cat. The people on the sofa were just relieved. The hairless cat attacked again. He quickly rushed out from under the sofa. First, he knocked the blue cat out of the way. Then he jumped. He jumped directly onto my brother's lap. Frightened, he kept shaking his legs, but he couldn't get away from his attack. Luckily, the blue cat rushed over in time and pushed him aside, but he didn't give up his attack on him. At this critical moment, the blue cat came forward again. He fought with the hairless cat. The blue cat's aura still scares him, although he was cursing, but he couldn't help retreating. Seeing that the blue cat kept blocking the center, he finally gave up the idea of attacking. Afterwards, Xiao Xiao carefully examined the wound. Even though he was wearing a thick coat, he still left a scratch on his thigh. In order to prevent him from attacking again, he sent the hairless cat back to his private room. But why would a cat attack its owner for no reason? The two old men told us this has been going on for months. Their own thighs are often scratched by him. This bruise is from a fall when he was hiding from the attacks. The worst is the old man, because his whole head was attacked by the cat, and his face has been scratched many times. The old couple had no choice. They gave up a room to keep him in. Every time they clean up the room, they are armed. If you're not careful, you'll get a beating. Even opening the door, we have to be careful. Is so fierce. Why did the two old men insist on keeping them? It turns out that a few months ago, Xiaowu gave birth to a litter of kittens. Due to a lack of experience, the kittens died soon after birth, and Xiaowu became very violent. She attacked her own kittens for no reason. For the safety of the remaining 3 kittens, the owner gave all the kittens to others to take care of. Since then, Xiaowu's temperament has changed drastically. She would attack her purposefully. Experts suggest providing a safe space for the caged eating. The old man even played some soft music for
with your bitch. Let's go.
Feel the magic in me.
What are you trying to? What are you trying to?
Why you let him down? But you can't. I'm the only one who sees. Why you let him down? But you can't. I'm the only one who sees. Why you let him down? But you can't. I'm the only one who sees. Why you let him down? But you can't. I'm the only one who sees.
You anti.
All that notion here at night when you hum along. All this shit in my head, yeah, you don't wanna know. On your knees, beg your boy.
And he cuts the line in CVS and gets jumped.
The man told me to come back up here. Yeah, I'm fucking outside. Shit. Girl, you ain't got to touch me. I'm not much. But you're in front of your door. That's how it's gonna be with you. That. Yeah. I don't give a. You got an attitude problem. I don't give a. That's your problem.
What part you? Bro, you lie. You lie. Ain't no part two.
I know I promised you guys up. That's when we started recording.
You fucked up, bro.
Come and get your wig split. Come and get your wig split.
bruh. Oh, for real, on the 66th Street. I'm from the 66. My boy, I'm from the 66, my boy. My boy, I'm from the 66 West.
I took off for purple just to stop the purple just to start it. I took off for purple just to warm it. Stop the purple just to start it. I took off for purple just to warm it. Stop the purple just to start it. I took off for purple just to warm it. Stop the purple just to start it. Stop the purple just to start it. I took off for purple just to stop the purple just to start it. I took off for purple just to
Conquistador.
Darkness taking over all the souls of your terror. All the visions of the badges with the heads of woman. The fire burning every love that is not the question you've been searching.
I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. I love everything. Fire spreading all around.
No, 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 no.
Raak mooi je doet van zitten knullen.
Als ik zeg dat hij ook een zo'n manier voorbij gaat, want hier in de...
Ja, is twee wat.
You know the best part of this video?
Dude, you're Asian. Why are you talking like that?
Jean-Claude Van Damme en Ganar o Morir. Con Rosanna Arquette. Kieran Culkin. Ted Levine. Jean-Claude Van Damme en Ganar o Morir. Con Rosanna Arquette. Kieran Culkin. Ted Levine. Jean-Claude Van Damme en
Hate crimes, mass expulsions, allegations of state-sanctioned violence. It's happening right now in the North African country of Tunisia. I'll explain. It all began in February when the country's president Kais Saied gave a speech denouncing the presence of black Africans in Tunisia, many of whom are landing in the coastal city of Sfax in hopes of getting into the European Union via Italy. He said, quote, hordes of irregular migrants from sub-Saharan Africa, unquote, were entering Tunisia, quote, with all the violence, crime, and unacceptable practices that entails. The speech triggered an upsurge in anti-black racist attacks, with mobs attacking migrants, asylum seekers, students, and black Tunisians, according to Amnesty International. The speech also divided Tunisian society, with some taking to the streets to denounce the president's rhetoric. On May 22nd and 23rd, 19 migrants were attacked by a mob of several men wielding knives and sabers, killing a 30-year-old migrant from the West African nation of Benin. On July 4th, the death of a 41-year-old Tunisian man during an altercation with a group of black migrants reignited violent reprisals by locals. According to Human Rights Watch, Tunisian security forces have been rounding up and forcibly expelling migrants and asylum seekers, including pregnant women and children, to the city of Ben Garden on the Tunisia-Libya border since July 2nd. In recent months, several European leaders have visited the tiny country on the brink of economic collapse, promising hundreds of millions of euros in aid to keep the country afloat in exchange for help stemming migration to its shores. Hundreds of millions of euros in aid to keep the country afloat in exchange for help stemming migration to its shores.
You should know that you're
Devastating news, as yesterday this Bosnian bodybuilder murdered his wife on Instagram Live in front of 12,000 people and his own child crying in the background. He is a mob boss over there in Bosnia. He's a I told you, his wife.
This fan tried to hurt Drake.
Волк ворвался на территорию человека и сразу напал на собаку. Бедолага сразу кинулась в дом искать спасения возле хозяина, но волк вытащил ее оттуда и начал давить ей. Наконец в доме загорелся свет. Человек кинулся с палкой на волка и спас своего друга. Волк ворвался на территорию...
That's crazy.
Now you tryna pull up to my crib, I think you really gotta go.
Without all of you, by the way, all of you who have a job, who probably work your ass off, spending your hard-earned money to come see me talk shit and drink, doesn't make sense, but I'll take it. Without all of you, by the way, all of you who have a job, who probably work your ass off, spending your hard-earned money to come see me talk shit and drink,
Doesn't make sense, but I'll take it. Without all of you, by the way, all of you who have a job, who probably work your ass off, spending your hard-earned money to come see me talk shit and drink, doesn't make sense, but I'll take it. Without all of you, by the way, all of you who have a job, who probably work your ass off, spending your hard-earned money to come see me talk shit and drink, doesn't make sense, but I'll take it.
Do not travel to Tunisia, especially when you are from West
No
Africa.
travel
Do not travel to Tunisia. The Tunisian government has taken bribe from the European Union to prosecute and execute every West African citizen who will travel to Tunisia with the intention of passing through Tunisia to enter into Europe. According to the Tunisian so-called leader, he said any African or especially West African that will be caught in Tunisia trying to pass through Tunisia to go to Europe, guess what? They are going to put you in a truck, take you in the desert and dump you for wild animal to eat. According to the Tunisian king, he said especially Nigerians are involved in the illegality coming to Tunisia without proper document to pass through Tunisia to go to Europe. I don't even know why should people go to a country than Tunisia, because Tunisia is a very poor country. Nigeria is richer than Tunisia. They have many rich people in Nigeria than Tunisia. Why when you go to Tunisia, you are making these people rude. These people are the ones that are devouring Africa. They said they're not African, but meanwhile, they participate in the African Nations Cup. Guys, drop a comment respectfully. Do you think Africans should be selling themselves to the European Union and people from the West? Drop a...
And as he returns to the featherweight division, where he's won 3 of his last 4 over Sean Gracie, Daniel Pineda, and Darren Elkins.
So you wanna play with magic, boy?
Traveled. I've learned from so many great people.
Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night. Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night. I'm trying to. Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night. I'm trying to. Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night. I'm trying to. Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night. I'm trying to. Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night. I'm trying to. Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night. I'm trying to. Now you storming out my house in the middle of the night.
Hey, he getting up through on him. Or
How are you feeling? Very well today. How is this moment for you? The moment is very important. That is the biggest city what was occupied since 24th of February. So that is the biggest city, and now it's free. So Ukraine came. So I'm happy. Thank you. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling? Very well today. How is this moment for you? The moment is very important. That is the biggest city what was occupied since.
what you get, gangster? What y'all trying to get, gangster? What you talking about?
We go, y'all.
Yeah, when the ski mask guys start joining the fight, that's.
All of you fools, we ain't
I'm gonna tell you once again. Call the headquarters. Call them down. Get them here now. Back up. Harass them. Hey, you pushing me. Back up. Back up, you too. Check the bag. There's nothing in there. Harass the black people. Fuck policy. Just logic. Sabe que o time chocou força de mecânica ali.
Heaven in this place, and that's the sign of a victory. That's a sign of a victory.
That's the sound of victory. That's the sound of victory.
I know this social media.
Here we are again. Here we are.
He shot right there.
What did Russia do when NATO tried threatening it by stepping into Ukraine? Well, yes, a war was unleashed, which is still going on even after 1.5 years since it.
Bro, I'm watching that UFC fight right now. Like, what? You said what now? You said you do what to who? That not reliable swords. Yeah, my boy.
This fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. Swanson's in blue, Dawadu opening with the kick in black.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Cenat. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
And now, as a very special treat, our very special friend Jimmy is going to do what he loves most. Motivational stand-up comedy. Let's give him a big hand.
Wow, what a great audience. Well, just in case you were wondering, I do have a disability. I am totally happy with the way I was born very much. I travel to different states and talk to kids about being proud of what they are. My mom says God has a plan for everyone. I guess I was plan B. Well, hello, Eric. I was really glad you called me very much.
Jimmy, thank God, get in here.
What's this all about?
Jimmy, you've always been my favorite stand-up comic. You gotta help me, I've lost my sense of humor.
Gee, that's a terrible thing, Eric. Comedy can be the best therapy very much.
I just had to find my funny bone again. Just try and make me laugh.
Oh, I don't think that will be hard. I've been working on my routine.
Okay, let me have it.
Okay, try this one on for thought. Why did the pigeon cross the road?
Okay, why?
Because it was having sex with the... Because it was having sex with the... Because it was having sex with the... It was having sex with the chicken.
Yeah, see? Something's wrong. I'm not laughing. We didn't go to your comedy show.
I know that. I was being facetious.
Well, dude, Christopher Reeve, dude.
Ooh, Christopher Reeve.
You're a gay
What's
fish.
he do?
Dude, that's not cool. You shouldn't make fun of Christopher Reeve. Yeah, dude, not cool.
Jimmy! Hey, Jimmy, wait up! Dude, I need your advice on something. Well, sure, Eric. What seems to be the problem?
Well, everybody likes you, Jimmy, and you seem to be really good with people. So I was wondering if you could tell me, how do you act nice to people?
Well, the best thing is not to act nice, Eric. The best thing is to be genuinely nice.
Okay, so how do you act genuinely nice to people?
Well, Eric, part of being nice is just making people smile and laugh. The best way to do that is by telling a fantastic joke or a humorous anecdote.
Like what?
Just a second.
Jimmy?
Hang on. Jimmy.
Jimmy, you doing steroids?
You guys like impersonations? How about Jimmy Stewart? Merry Christmas, movie house. And John Travolta. Oh my God, Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter, oh my God, Mr. Carter.
Jimmy's funny, dude. Yeah, well, he's the coolest kid with disabilities in the world.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jim Swanson, and this is my friend, Timmy. Timmy!
Contracts handed out 9 more weeks to go.
Well, let us tell you a little bit about ourselves. Timmy and I are both true Crips, born and raised. We're the only Crips in South Park, where we live, and we would love to join your fantastic Denver chapter.
Is they for real, man?
Jim, it's your father.
That could become valuable. We now have a champion of the Contender Series, another guy fighting.
Where have you been, bro?
Bro. For the dream, for the stream. In the A. If we don't win, then can I get like a refund?
Ma'am, I am.
I'll just be outside. Hey, if I was you, do not buy the lottery. I get no bitches.
No.
I get no women. I'm a virgin.
No, I don't know you're virgin, but you're a loser. You go to the trash.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Can I get 9, please?
Number 9.
Oh my God! I won! Bro, I fucking won, bro.
You just shoved the shit out of this.
Can you like bless me with the money? Like just bless me. Thank you. Love you so much. All right, just to let everybody know, I actually did win this, so I had to celebrate and push my editor Zach down. So hopefully you don't sue me for any injuries. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. You won $10.
Thank you.
Months to got real. Just
Video, bro.
Barry, the filmer that's recording this right now, destroyed this car. I guess he wasn't paying attention. He's saying he went 5 miles per hour and hit like one of those trucks, you know, those Ford 150s. I don't know what they're built out of, but I need that. Basically, you guys all know I drive a Prius all the time. I know a lot of people are like always wondering like, why don't you get a new car? Why didn't you like, bro, the Prius was freaking perfect. And this is just like a lesson learned for like, let it across America. So we're gonna be traveling with the van now. So I need to show you guys that soon. Damn, Barry, what we're gonna do? Spirit? If you guys didn't know. Oh, there you go. I was looking for you. Coming to DreamCon with us? Spirit? DreamCon?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I was looking for you.
Bro?
Yeah.
No. Oh, yes. Actually, I do know you.
Yeah.
Bro, why are you chilling here? Bro, what the heck?
Bro, I was looking for you.
Bro?
Yeah, you got kind of Aki a little bit. I like it. I didn't mind it. I like my hair being pulled going on because if I had time, I'd have boxed you. I'd have. All right, I'll see you, man. Appreciate you. That was. Yeah.
Bro, why are you chilling here? Bro, what the heck?
Bro, I didn't mind it. I like my hair being pulled. Doing it.
Right.
Killing me, motherfucker.
I missed you, man. I missed you a lot.
know.
We're gonna turn up on DreamCon today, man.
Oh man, you have I got so much shit for that con. It's like funny.
Do I really? Do I look better than this monkey over here?
What the hell? I heard monkey. What the hell? What did you say?
What the fuck we get into? Mario, I got a question. You gonna let Bowser keep taking her? Because me personally, I'm not gonna let Bowser keep taking my girl.
Okay, you do that.
No,
I'm
What are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna beat Bowser's ass for it.
You gonna keep beating his ass?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. My man. Man. Yeah, I got you.
Guys, I have a patient in there. I need everything to be.
Ooh.
Because you're.
How serious is it?
Enough that I have a patient.
If it's not health,
Can you be respectful?
we can just pop him like a health potion or like a chug jug. Demarcus. Oh. I'm a big fan. Under? Oh my God. This is the first time. Like, I don't know how we didn't meet each other yet.
Well, how long you been here?
I just got here.
You just got here?
Yeah, I just got here.
Are you hooping?
I'm not hooping.
Well, I said let's hoop.
What was you like that? Never. Oh, that was wet. Please tell me you got that. I'm highlighting that. That's my highlight reel for the rest of the week.
Stop it, man.
Card, and whenever.
Let's have fun.
Can we say nigga on 3?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Let's have fun. Let's meet people. Oh, snap.
So we're set then for the third time. This man, Anthony, chops back. Once again, as he did against Deontay Wilder.
Bro.
When he was eventually beaten in a single round in his attempt to win the world title.
I don't know like that, right?
Be sure of one thing, Mike. Robert Hellenius will not freeze. And he will put pressure on Anthony Joshua, and he will have a goal 100%.
They say that history is written by the winners, but as Joshua found out last time, it's not just the winners in heavyweight boxing, it's how you win on the end of heavy criticism. And he knows that will come his way again here tonight. If he doesn't finish this impressively.
He needs to be aggressive, definitely.
Alright, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.